All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. My name is Adam Brooks, and we're here and joined with Eric Graves. Eric, thank you for joining me, man. This has been a long time in the making.
Yes, it has.
And so I just want to let everybody know, and we have a couple hundred people watching right now. I hope you will send some thumbs up and some likes and share out this broadcast because we're going to be talking weather here with meteorologist Eric Graves. And also, I'd like to tell both audiences because they may not realize this, but we are simulcasting on both platforms. The Brooks Report Live, Adam Brooks and the Brooks Report Live, and Eric Graves, Meteorology. And so this is great. And I think we're going to be doing more of these, Eric, but let's get right into it. Let's tell these folks what we're looking at and what your projections are at this time for this storm that's out in the Gulf.
Well, what just happened was the hurricane hunters just got back from their flight investigating the system. They investigated from about 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. What's going to happen is you're looking at a lot of these spaghetti models. That's what everybody's focused on. And also you see some global models like the European and the GFS being shared around. Now that the hurricane hunters are back, they're going to ingest that data they collected into the overnight models, and it's going to kind of give a better picture of what's going to actually happen with this soon-to-be tropical storm Francine. I want to talk about the forecast 24 to 48 hours from now. We're going to start to see some intensification probably tomorrow when his center finally consolidates. What he's got pulled up right now is the infrared satellite imagery, and you see those pink cloud tops just to the southwest of the center. That's where the tops are being ripped off from the northeast to the southwest by shear. That's not a good thing for tropical systems. They like wind moving in the same direction in all levels of the atmosphere. That wind shear will relax as it moves closer to Brownsville.
Eric, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm seeing some comments that folks are saying they cannot hear us. Please let us know if you can hear us in the comments. Some people are saying they are, some can't. Okay. Thank you, guys. Just if you will, and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. So that way Eric can pinpoint a little bit for your area. Thank you so much. Okay, go ahead, Eric.
Okay, so can everybody hear me? Are they?
Yeah, everybody's good.
Okay, great. So like I was saying, the next 24 to 48 hours, what we're going to watch is how quick a center can consolidate itself, which right now it's trying to do that a little bit on the northeast side of where you see the pink colors on that infrared satellite imagery. Once you get a closed level of circulation, that's when it'll be deemed a tropical storm. It'll get the name Francine probably by morning. Right now, the tropical or the National Hurricane Center has it making landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. They usually start out low and they work their way up. They never really reverse the forecast. If they call for a Category 2, they don't like to go back on that and say, okay, well, it's going to be a Category 1. So they usually start low and they work their way up. I do believe, personally, in my own opinion, that this will be a Category 2 hurricane at landfall, possibly even low M3. And
Wait a second, Eric, because what you just said is probably shocking to a lot of folks because I don't think they've heard numbers like that at this point. So you're saying this thing really could turn into a major hurricane, a Category 2?
Yes, maybe not a major hurricane, but a Category 2. So you get a major hurricane is Category 3 plus. It's important that I say this quick, that if that occurs, you're going to see a more easterly track. So if Southeast Texas is in a pretty good position, because if it were to go more west, it would have to be a weaker tropical system, only a Category 1 hurricane, a bare minimum. If the stronger the hurricane gets, the taller it gets, the more it fills that southwest to northeast flow from the trough to the north. So the stronger you get, the further east of a track you're also going to get at the same time. So a weak system is going to move more toward the southeast Texas area. A stronger system is going to move more toward the central Louisiana coast. And that's where the global models sit right now, like the European and the ICON, also the GFS model, all sit well east of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay, so I want to switch gears a little bit. I'm gonna share a different photo here. This is something that a lot of people really hang their hats on, and I don't know if this is the most updated one, Eric, but So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is. So this cone, where they put that, you were telling us earlier something about this is a combination of those models. I don't know the metrics that they use to do this. That's where you come into play and you can tell us. But you're saying it usually jogs a little further east, wherever that is, right? Is that the center it jogs?
Okay, so what they do is they use something called the TVCN as an abbreviation for the consensus model down the middle of the spaghetti models. But when you have, oftentimes what usually happens is the global models also agree with the spaghetti models. With this particular situation, the global models are well east of the spaghetti models. So the Hurricane Center went in the middle of they had to split the middle. They went in the middle of the European and the GFS model and the center line of the spaghetti models. That's essentially all they did. And that's actually even in their forecast discussion. And it's also noted there may be trends east of that as well. And that's kind of right in the thinking that most meteorologists have been talking about for 2 or 3 days now. When you have a trough to the northwest that's digging down, a stronger system is going to fill the west to east pole a lot more because it's taller than a weaker system would. So a weaker system, let's go ahead and say that the forecast cone right now, which the National Hurricane Center is the best in the business. I do not ever want to knock them, but this is considering this being a weak or a low end Category 1 hurricane. If it's stronger, your Category 2 is going to be east of Lake Charles. Category 3 would definitely be well east of Lake Charles.
Okay. So that gives a lot of people a little bit more area as far as concentration. That doesn't mean take your guard down, though, right? I mean, Southeast Texas or along that coastline anywhere, this thing still has the potential to jog one way or the other, correct?
Yeah, so 72 hours out, the margin of error is about 80 miles west and east of that center line. During a 72-hour lead time, and that's where we're at now, landfall being Wednesday afternoon or evening.
Well, and also I want to jump in real quick, and I want to say, we have over 500 folks watching us right now, and I want to tell those folks, I don't know if they're coming from your page or my page, or it's just a combination of both. But if you're coming from my platform, you need to go like and follow Eric Graves Meteorology, and I would appreciate if any of you guys from Eric Graves page would come over to the Bush Report Live if you want to see some other type of news and some other things that are happening. I'd appreciate that too. Eric, I believe we're going to try to do this some more, maybe a couple of times between now and then maybe when it comes, I don't know, what do you think? Tuesday night will probably be the real telltale sign.
I really think even tomorrow morning you're going to see models kind of consolidate better between the global models and the spaghetti models. That's the only thing that's keeping this where it's at right now, close to Southeast Texas. If and when the spaghetti models trend toward the global models, they will shift that cone pretty quick to the east.
Okay. So you have given us a lot of information. I want to say to everybody watching, thank you for the comments. If you guys have any questions for Eric, if you want to post them, if you want to have better questions than I do, maybe, or there's something from a meteorology standpoint that you're curious about, while we've got him on the hook, now would be the time to ask. In fact, we've got a few of those, Eric, if you're willing to answer a few questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Edgar Wayne Massey says, if it's a stronger storm, that's what's anticipated, correct?
If it's a stronger storm, you're probably going to very likely see a farther east track than what the Hurricane Center has up right now. If this ends up being a minimal Category 1 hurricane, which is what the National Hurricane Center has in place right now, then you would see a track closer to Southeast Texas, near the Holly Beach, Lake Charles area, possibly even Sabine Pass. But like I said, almost every credible model has this Category 2, even low end 3 possible. And you're going to get a further east track.
Well, I mean, being in Southeast Texas, Southwest Louisiana, we've become somewhat complacent when it comes to these storms. And that was another thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, because, a lot of us that have lived here our whole lives or for any length of time, it's almost like, just another event, right? Like just another rain event or thunderstorm. But there are still major dangers involved. Just because you dodged the bullet the last time doesn't mean you'll dodge a bullet this time. So you really need to be prepared and take safety. What are some of those safety things that folks can do when a storm like that is approaching them?
Well, so I wouldn't make preparations. I'm going to talk about what you do when you need to make preparations, but usually the time to do that's when a hurricane watch or warrant watch is issued, which is 48 hours before hurricane conditions are possible. And that would be maybe tomorrow afternoon or evening, when we will have a better handle on exactly where this will go and the intensity ceiling of this tropical system. But, you know, you've got to make a decision. Probably, I guess the most important thing I could say is if you decided to stay and you were in the center path of this system and you're going to have to deal with the eye wall. A lot of times people want to ride it out, but they ride it out and, you know, they make it, they're fine, they survive, but do you really want to put your family through that kind of thing? That's what I always had to tell people, like with the higher end hurricanes. When you get to category 2, especially low end 3, things start getting, you have a lot of post-traumatic stress from having to go through that, you know, the roof being ripped off, things like that. But that's going to be an issue for Louisiana, I believe, much more than Texas.
Okay. And just real quick, I don't know if you can see my mouse here around the pink here. What is that indicating there, that pink purplish area?
So those are 80 to 90 degrees below Celsius. Really, really cold cloud tops are really tall, deep convection. It looks a little bit scarier than what's actually taking place because, like I said, that is displaced to the southwest of where a center is trying to form. That's not good for a tropical system, but that wind shear will eventually relax. And those colder cloud tops, the pink you'll see start to wrap around the center. When that happens, you'll have a strengthening system.
Well, Eric, if there is nothing else that you'd like to add here, I really do appreciate you coming on and us doing the simulcast for the first time. And I know there's many more in the future, but I really appreciate getting this opportunity to chat with you and for the folks on my platform to be able to ask you questions and get to know you a little bit. And hopefully they'll go follow you, and hopefully some of your guys will come follow us over here. And let's do this again. We don't have a time and a date right now, but just we'll keep you guys posted on when we're going to do this again.
Yes, and I was glad to do this with you. Very happy to do this with you, Adam. Also, the last thing I want to add is if you're in Southeast Texas, you do need to keep watching this. I'm not saying that you can't have a formidable hurricane impact your area. I'm not saying that, but if you're asking for my honest opinion, I do believe that we see trends east and a stronger tropical system. But continue to monitor in Southeast Texas.
All right, there you have it from the go-to meteorology himself, Eric Graves. My name is Adam C. Brooks. So until we meet again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the likes, the comments. We really do appreciate it. But you can continue to ask questions, and we'll hop on there and we'll answer some of those questions. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Eric.